Hey guys, this is Dr. Scott Graves with TotalGutTransformation.com. What are the secrets to living a long time with relatively little disease? Well, researchers around the world have looked and they have actually found places in the world which are called blue zones. And a blue zone is a place in the world where you find a concentration of people that live to be over 100 years old. And they also have much less sickness and disease than the rest of the population. One such blue zone in the world comes out of Okinawa, Japan, which is an island to the south of the mainland of Japan. And what they did is they went there and they studied and looked at what are all the habits that these people have that allows them to have a much longer life capacity, to be healthier, and also to be much happier. And the things that they came up with were very interesting, and we're going to talk about what those are. So what are some of the dietary and lifestyle habits that they found in this blue zone in Okinawa, Japan? Well, number one, their diet consisted almost completely of organic, whole plant food, not animal food. Number two, smoking almost completely was non-existent. Number three, there was a very strong sense of family for the people that lived to be 100 years old. Number four, constant, moderate physical activity was a part of everybody that they noticed who lived to be long and healthy. Number five, people were socially engaged and had a really strong sense of purpose. Number six, there was no time urgency in that culture. And this doesn't mean that they weren't lazy, it just means that they were more relaxed and stress-free than they found in other places. Number seven, they consumed a very specific type of tea every day. And lastly, they had a very strong sense of spirituality or religion. These were the main components that they found that contributed to people being happy and healthy over 100 years old. Now, let's take a look at what some of the dietary practices are that they engaged in so we can look and have a window into what specifically that entailed. There are definitely some very stark differences between the diets that these Okinawans had and what we find in the United States today. In fact, you also find some big contrasts between some of the more popular diets that are out there today, like the ketogenic diet, which is very, very high fat, and also the paleo diet, which is moderate protein and moderate fat. But there's really some stark differences even between those two. So first of all, this is the most astonishing thing that was a part of the research that they found. 70% of their diet was composed of sweet potatoes. Purple and orange sweet potato varieties, and they made it in a whole variety of different ways. But that was the most stunning thing. So what that means is that at least 70% of the diet was carbohydrates, not protein and not fat. So that was the really first interesting fact about their diet. Another 20% of their diet was also composed of carbohydrates in the form of vegetables, fruits, and legumes. So this was another really interesting finding. So literally 90% of the Okinawan diet was composed or is composed of carbohydrates. Less than 5% of the diet was composed of other products including meats like chicken, dairy, fish, and nuts and seeds. Which is really interesting because people have this obsession with protein in our world today. And here are people who are happy and healthy and slim, and 5% or less of their diet was composed of the things that normally comprise the largest portion that we find in the United States today. Next, all their food was organic and whole, and it wasn't processed. It was prepared in traditional ways that are very healing for people. Next, they didn't consume any genetically modified foods like corn, soy, wheat, and sugar. Right? All their food was whole and organic and healthy. It wasn't processed in any way. Next, they did consume some alcohol, but it was very infrequently, usually only about 1 to 3 times per week, and it was a very moderate amount. The last thing is that they actually had this practice that's a part of this culture where they only eat until 80% full. So they don't eat until they're absolutely full, or they don't eat until they're super ultra full. They have this practice where they eat until they're only 80% full. And this actually goes well with Chinese medicine because overeating puts a lot of stress on your digestive system. So these are the dietary practices that are found among people who live to be over 100 years old. And we could definitely take notice of this and start to implement some of these things in our life as well if we want to have health and longevity. So I'm really passionate about helping people have healthy digestion and also having great abundant health. That's why I created a 3-part video series, which is absolutely free, on helping you to continue to heal from your digestion. If you'd like that, go ahead and go to totalguttransformation.com/free, input your first name and your email address, and we'll go ahead and send that right out to you. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like it, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching.